Welcome back to Tea and Cuts with Alisa, where we spill all the tea about sexuality. I'm your host, Alisa Brunetti Mukai, and today on the couch we have Natali. Natali, welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me here. The way you looked at me, honestly, it was like no pressure at all.
No pressure at all.
Yeah, hi.
So Natali, please introduce yourself and what we're going to talk about today.
I'm Natali. I'm a certified ICF coach and I focus on relationships. I mostly work with women. Also, I'm studying psychology. I'm in my second year of bachelor's, planning to be a therapist in the future. Also, I have hobbies. I'm a dancer, a singer, an adventurous person. I love to travel, and I would say that's it about me.
Okay, so you are a relationship coach. Would you share us a brief story of how you ended up being a relationship coach?
I started studying psychology 5 years ago, and when I started, I didn't want to wait to work with people legally and ethically, so I became an ICF-certified coach. And as any ICF-certified coach, I would say you start always with what's your purpose, what do you want to do in life. And it was fulfilling and interesting, but I think very, very shortly I realized that I'm actually more interested in working with relationship dynamics and with confidence, dating life, even sexuality, all that, because it's more aligned with my values, I would say. So about probably 3.5 years ago, I kind of switched to being a relationship coach.
And currently your focus is for women?
I would say so, yeah. I've had male clients, I have male clients, but they're the minority.
And why did you decide to focus on women?
I think in a way, because I can relate more to women. Yeah, that's why.
Do you feel like a woman these days need more support in dating?
I think anyone honestly needs support in dating because
Yeah.
it's quite a confusing field of life. But since I'm a woman and I can relate more to women, and in a way it's kind of my choice, I help women with dating and relationships. Yeah.
So on the topic of a modern dating, what is your opinion with like a dating app and a dating websites?
I think in a way dating apps are kind of I don't want to say dead, but everyone is tired of them. Because it seems like they're not designed for you to find your match. They're designed for you to stay on the app, right? But in a way, I still think it's a great, maybe not the greatest, but it's a good way of meeting someone. I wouldn't put all my eggs into one basket. So that's why I think dating apps are still a choice in the whole array of choices that people can make where to date,
Yeah. What do you think is a good alternative outside of dating app to meet people?
In fact, I think it's something that you do, like dating events or overall events, for different hobbies or different interests, or groups of friends, perhaps, or just like going out talking to people, maybe. On the street, yeah.
Yeah, people gotta take a risk going out.
Yeah, I think we became a bit too socially awkward and so much focused on living online. So human interaction is kind of lacking, yet it's very much what we humans need, because we're social creatures. So,
do you think dating app kind of changed people's perspective in sex life also?
I think dating apps changed perspective in sex life and dating overall. People kind of became disposable because it always seems like there is this whole, almost menu of choices. And it always feels like you can choose the next one and grass is greener on the other side or something like that. No, grass is greener on the other side is not exactly what I want to say, but like there is this a ton of choice and it just overwhelms you. Misguides you too, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. And as a relationship coach, how do you navigate yourself in this current modern dating life?
It's very interesting. Personally, I haven't been in a relationship for a while, I would say 2 years. There was a reason. I had a bad breakup and also had a health issue. Now I'm thankfully all right, and I'm open to meeting the one, right? But at the same time, I am not like in a crazy rush to, get married and all that. Yeah, so I would say I'm free-floating, focusing on my career and studies more so right now, but still actively going on dates and just looking what's out there, I guess.
Yeah. What is a challenge for you in a dating life?
To be honest, this might sound so entitled, but I've been 10 years in therapy, and it's it's quite hard to find someone on the same level of self-awareness and investment into like the relationship and themselves. So that's my struggle.
Yeah.
Because I find that men still are a bit behind on learning about themselves and self-awareness journey, so it's quite hard.
So since we are a podcast about sexuality, I also want to talk a little bit about sex.
Let's get to it.
Yes. Can I ask about your sex life?
I guess you can, yeah. If I'm not comfortable, I'm going to let you know.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. We don't have to go too deep into a personal detail or anything.
Yeah. I'm not going to share here, like, I like to be fucked this way and that way, you know? That's not what it's about, I guess.
But would you say you have a satisfying sex life?
Oh, difficult question. I think it's better now than even a month ago. Because I said I went through a very difficult health journey. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition called Addison's disease, which affects your adrenal glands. And adrenal glands produce a lot of hormones, but also testosterone. And testosterone is responsible for sex drive in men and women. So my testosterone was zero, or like close to zero. So for, I would say, almost 2 years, I felt almost no sexual desire or like no sex drive at all. And I would say now I'm starting to again recognize somewhat old me because I got on testosterone replacement therapy a month ago.
Nice.
So I think it's getting better for sure.
That's nice.
Yeah, and I hope it will get better even from now on.
Yeah. And since you got diagnosed until like up until now, how has your journey has been to get your libido back?
To be honest, it's been quite difficult because before my condition, I had a very high sex drive, you know, so it was a big part of who I was. And then all of a sudden it just cuts off and then you don't recognize yourself anymore. Not only it's hard to orgasm, but also all the sensations that I felt before, they were not there. Like I would remember them, but as let's say I would stimulate myself or someone would stimulate me, I would not feel the same. So it was really weird and I almost felt like a broken woman and it really affected my confidence. So it was quite sad, yeah. I think also I gained weight right after the diagnosis because I was put on a really high dose of hormones and I think I gained like 2 sizes of clothes and I was swollen. So for me, this like body dysmorphia, not feeling comfy in my body was not very much related to like good sexual experiences, I would say. Yeah.
But is it coming back to a better version?
Yeah, I mean now I'm like in my stable weight that I've been most of my life and thankfully it's all back, so that's better. And I think I also learned my new ways and maybe I'm giving myself more time to, you know, kind of get into the mood and I'm definitely telling my partners more about my condition and how it affects my sex drive and my sexual experiences. So yeah, it's getting there. I'm getting there, I would say.
How do they usually react when you bring up your condition?
It depends. Like I look quite normal. I look quite healthy and energetic and I live a very fulfilling, socially rich life. So sometimes people don't take it seriously or they don't realize that I have this condition because I'm just so active. But it doesn't mean I don't feel tired or I don't feel not in the mood. Yeah. So some of them are confused. There were some people who really didn't care at all, like even didn't give a slightest fuck about my condition and that sometimes I don't want sex and it's not within my control. Well, they didn't stay long in my life, but I would say most people, they kind of feel empathetic and try to ask me more about how this condition affects me and how they can do better so that I also feel great. Yeah.
Do you think it's important for women to talk about sex and this kind of condition?
It's not even about condition. I think women or anyone should talk more about sex and anyone should learn more about themselves and their sexuality. And I think communicate it quite early on to their partners. Yeah. Yeah, it's very important.
So a lot of women still feel ashamed about talking about sex. What do you think women like that should learn or unlearn in order to gain more empowerment?
So many things to learn and unlearn. First of all, to accept that your sexuality is important, I would say, and that it's a journey. It's not something that like comes instantly to you, and it's something that you explore. I would like more women to take it almost as like project sounds kind of so bad, but what I mean is to take it as an experiment, you know, because still our sexuality is so shamed and it's not talked about, yet it's very important because sexuality is one of our needs. Of course, it's important, right? So I would want women to really get into the exploratory mode and feel the empowerment that their sexuality belongs to them, and really try to get rid of the shame that comes with it, because that shame doesn't help you to, you know, unlock your true potential sexually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you say you used to have a shame around sexuality also?
Oh yes, I was so ashamed of my body, of my sexuality. I was so afraid of men. I was so afraid of like looking at men, flirting with men. Yet this is something that I craved very much. I was also so ashamed to like be pretty and like kind of be out there, you know, expose myself, I would say, to like shine, you know, because it was very much related to shame and you know, certain things in childhood. So for me, the process kind of started about 6 years ago, I would say. I was so confused, I remember, because I had this like kind of sex drive that was very strong and I was very curious, yet when it came to actual practice, I really didn't enjoy it. Like it would be boring, or I would be not feeling, I would feel, I think, physically overwhelmed, I guess. Not being able to be present, that was also my thing, and like constantly overthinking, oh, how do I look like? Do I have a fat, like a, you know, like do I have a fold here on my like stomach or on my butt? You know, how does my butt look like? So I had this crazy beehive in my head about everything during sex, for example, and it obviously didn't help me. And I guess like around when I was 25, now I'm 31, I met a guy and we were dating, and I think he was a good lover, so he kind of helped me to unlock a bit of my sexuality and what I liked. And when we broke up, I thought, if not now, then when? And I decided to really make it an experiment and give up all the shame. And in therapy, it was the main focus for the longest time. And I started experimenting. I was like, literally, how would I feel if I had a one-night stand? Like, would I feel attached? Would I not? And so I literally went on Tinder and had a few one-night stands and like felt with myself, okay, so how was this experience, you know? And then slowly I started experimenting with what I liked, with how to communicate about what I liked to partners, how to even select partners. And I would say eventually my experience became better and better and better. And because I didn't focus on the negative experience so much, and I'm more focused on delivering the right message, showing my boundaries, my standards, it helped me filter out men that were not so much, you know, up for caring about my experience. And then I was meeting men who were caring more and more, and hence my experience also, you know, became much better. So
That's really interesting. And like, how did you manage to? Well, you mentioned like you can switch very easily, but
yeah.
like, was it always easy for you?
No. I guess you're talking about attaching to the partner after sex. So yeah, I would always, you know, have a one-night stand with someone and then like already imagine how we would get married and have kids, you know, and family. Well, metaphorically speaking. Whereas I just met them and maybe sex wasn't even that great, but somehow I felt like when I'm intimate with someone, I'm kind of giving in, and power is not mine. And I was listening to a podcast by Esther Perel, and she said something about sexuality of women and owning it. And I was like, wow, this is so empowering. I actually feel like my sexuality is mine. And so I wasn't more in this mindset of when I'm having sex with someone, something is being taken away from me, but I'm an active, equal participant in this, and I also have a choice, I have a say. And this is where I also learned, because I felt more confident and I had my almost like a foundation of principles, and what was good for me and what was not good for me and what I wanted and not wanted. I felt like I can have good sex with an amazing person, but I can very clearly see that maybe they're not for a relationship, like, or I'm not in a stage where I want to have a relationship, so I would be very outspoken with my partners and just have casual relationships, right? And all of this was very empowering. Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying that attachment is, that I'm not feeling attachment or attachment is bad. In fact, attachment is very natural. And especially when you have a great experience, you have all these neurotransmitters and hormones that flood you after, you know, an orgasm or a great sexual experience. But it doesn't mean that this person is your husband or something, you know? Of course, there are people with whom chemistry is better, and scientifically speaking, you have a higher chance of let's say, like, being more fertile with them and enjoying it more and longer term. But I think we as women, we should really also start enjoying sex for us, not for the societal reasons to get married or whatever, you know?
Not only to perform.
Not only, yeah, to perform and fulfill a certain societal role. Yeah.
And when women come to you for coaching, do you incorporate that kind of your life experience in your teaching?
I think here I need to elaborate, because this is the question that's asked often, like whether I use my personal experience. Of course, I use, in a way, my personal experience, because my experience formed who I am, and it formed my values, and it formed who I care about. But my coaching is not very directive. The method I work in is more so asking deep transformative questions, and then people find answers within themselves. But there is a slight aspect of giving almost like consulting, because there are certain concepts that I need to explain to my clients while we're working with them. So this is where I kind of use my experience. I'm not a certified sexologist. I studied sexology here and there at the university, you know, and certain independent courses, but I'm not a certified sexologist, so I don't position myself as such. But of course, I bring my values, I bring my mindset into the coaching, and I even guess what kind of clients I work with, you know, because I notice that people who come to me, it happens somehow magically. Maybe they feel that we lived through something similar, or I went through the journey in a way, so maybe that's why they trust me more, or maybe they feel like they can open up more. So in this way, yes, I guess. Yeah.
And currently, what is your aspiration in a dating coaching field?
What do you mean aspiration? Like, I want to continue helping women. I guess my main motto is that I really want to help women and like men, but since I mostly work with women, to be who they really are and to accept who they are and to finally become their best friends, you know, and not live with guilt and shame, and to understand that they have the right for their boundaries, their standards, they can communicate it, and they can enjoy themselves as much as they want. So that's my motto, I would say. Like, that's my aspiration, to help as many people as possible.
That's nice. What is your biggest advice in a modern dating right now?
Just be out there, you know, guys, date, because and again, take it as an experiment. Don't take it too seriously. Just go out there and date, be it on dating apps or like through networking events or through dating events, through any events, through common friends. Just go out and talk to people, because if you sit at home and hope it will happen to you, no, it will not happen. Like, you know, just be out there. That's the best advice, and it's trial and error. Go through it. Take it with a bit of grain of salt, you know, and that's it, I guess. Yeah.
And we also have a closing question in this podcast.
Lovely.
Yeah. What is the hottest tea you would spill to your younger self?
Hottest tea? I would spill to my younger self. I would say, Natali, you're totally normal, or your fantasies are normal, and there are people who are just like you, and you can experience you can have great fulfilling sex life without shame and guilt, and the earlier you understand it, the better. So that's what I would spill.
Yeah, that's nice. Thank you so much for joining me today, Natali.
Thank you for having me.